Well, hey there team, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my overview of Stormgate. Stormgate Early Access. Stormgate Early Access, not really early access, kind of pre-early access, pre-release paid early access before it goes free to play, but then it will still be early access, but only, 1/10 of the game will be free and you'll pay for these chapters. They'll all be early access, by the way. And then maybe, if this game recoups the losses that it's already on an intercept course for, maybe you'll see 1.0 in bloody 4 years or something like that. But who even knows? I hate early access. I never liked it in the first place. I've been skeptical for the last decade of early access. And what went from what could potentially be an interesting niche way of getting games out to you and me in an exceptional case has now become the status quo of releasing broken shit products that aren't complete to a consumer paying a complete price or what have you. Yes, okay, this is turning a bit of an early access rant, but this game might be the straw that broke the camel's back. I give games 2 hours, and I'm probably going to scrap the overview system soon as well, because I'm kind of just getting sick of giving my goodwill and attention to all these games when 90% of them are like, maybe we'll be finished if you give us fucking money now, and we'll give you the other 90% of the game in a couple of years. So yeah, I'm a bit miffed. And the reason I mentioned the 2 hours specifically is because I spent a good chunk of it, like 15 minutes, having to fuck around in external links and store Steam pages to try and figure out what's going on with the monetization. Which one? That's a fail straight away. If you're trying to get money off of me, why are you doing weird, wild stuff? I am kind of sick of getting gaslit into thinking that maybe this is in the favor of the players to release in chapters and drip feed and buy bits and pieces. No, just give us a game, charge the price for the game, and honestly, do something like Helldivers or something, right? Have some cosmetic Game Pass crap that's totally not game affecting, and you can just put some extra money in if you want, or not. That's it. That's all that we want as normies. Stop beta testing us for new monetization schemes. So this is what I'll tell you now. You can pay $35 Australian to play this game now. Or you can wait, where is it? Jesus, I've got to scroll down this Steam page and squint. Here it is, hidden away somewhere. Free to play August 13. Now maybe, look, if you're a big sweat that's following this game and you're a fan, maybe you already know that. Or maybe you're me, a normie, arguably the target audience that this game is trying to capture. I think it's still not clear. But anyway, this game is going to go free to play in 2 weeks. So I guess if you want to pay the high end of an indie price for access to it, fill your boots. But when it does go free to play, all you're going to have access is the prologue. There's all these rules around the co-op mode about which characters you have and what level you can get them to. And again, all of the pitch around it is that they're trying to do us some sort of favor by, oh, well, you can play this guy till level 5 or whatever. No, just give me the fucking game, man. Just charge the full price and give me the game. I've had enough, obviously. I'm finally snapping. And maybe you see it through the other side. Maybe you're not as frayed and played out as I am. And maybe you see this all as some big consumer-centric doing you a favor of drip feeding you content. But I don't see it that way. So yeah, wait 2 weeks, try this free to play. You'll get a couple of missions, you can play a co-op mode, you can play 1v1 skirmishes, I suppose there's leaderboards and all that. I'm not that interested in that. And here's the thing why I'm really miffed, because I went into this really blind. The first half an hour of this game, 15 minutes, I was on board, man. I knew nothing about it. Apparently, they're calling themselves a next-gen RTS. I kind of get what they're going for, and it's kind of not correct. But coming out of the gate, to give you an idea of when I was on Team bloody Stormgate, opening cutscene, Blizzard as fuck, right? In fact, everything about this game screams nostalgia bait in the best possible way for fans of like StarCraft 1, read me, and, bloody Warcraft 2, Warcraft 3, that sort of stuff. I don't play World of Warcraft, I don't give a shit about MMOs, right? I played the StarCraft 2 as long as I could handle it. Like, the first initial release was great. Kerrigan run around the forest doing bloody busy work quests in Expansion 2 or whatever. That wore me out. I got the shits with that. But like, the early goings of StarCraft 2 was great as well. So this game's really trying to tap it. The soundtrack is Well, it's not StarCraft, but nothing really is, if we're being honest. Feels more like Halo. We've got the sort of Thunder Run drum tracks, you sort of know what I mean saying that weird statement. And all the art is actually really appealing to me. All these units, I think it's really cool and clever. They have definitely gone for that, Warcraft 3 come StarCraft era of art style. However, while they've got that right, they've got a lot wrong. And for many different reasons. Now that I've calmed down and I've gotten my bloody early access explosion out of my system, I'm going to take some time to tell you what's wrong here. Now, one, I believe the idea of the next-gen RTS concept is because they've got a lot of beginner-friendly, let's say normie, through the lens of someone who's not a normie. Follow me on this one. If you're some APM friggin' autistic monster that loves StarCraft 2 competitive tournaments, and then you make a studio and then you think, I'm gonna make this accessible for normies, this is the game that you make, right? The thing that I think that they miss is that normies are just happy with StarCraft as it is. There is a very strong argument for the death of RTS in current day. I think most people would agree that it's kind of died as a genre, or died off, or maybe dead's too spicy a term, but it's definitely had a decline in popularity. But I see that more that there's an evolution. There's nothing explicitly wrong with RTS, but it was more of the tip of the spear of what came next. MOBAs, for example, I think take a lot of the competitive appeal of RTSs and narrow in on their focus. So yes, it's not base building and all that, but the micro and interacting with the, skill shot systems and all that very much makes me think of Warcraft 3 hero movement and all that. And again, it doesn't really appeal to me, but you can't deny that MOBAs are fucking huge. Having said that, on the other end of the scale, so if that's almost pulling chunks of the combat out and focusing on it, the other end of the scale are things like colony builders, right? Factory management games, Factoria, all these games really sprung up at the same time, same as sort of MOBAs did. And that's more me, and that's more what I play. And I just feel like that there has been a branching and an evolution for the most part from RTS. So it's not that you need a next generation RTS. I think what you need is an old school RTS in the same way that we still have, pixel art platformers coming out in modern day. They refine their roots and they know what they are. They marry nostalgia with modern sensibilities and they nail it. And that's what they should have done here. So instead, the whole gimmick behind this game is mechanically that they're taking a lot of the micro or macro or whatever you want to bloody call out of it, the APM nonsense, the stuff where you have to do lines of Adderall to, press your keyboard 10,000 times a second, right? They automate a lot of that stuff. There's a smart AI thing. I turned it on to see what it was, and it starts building units and buildings for you and all that. Okay, it's a cool idea. On paper, it's a cool idea. If you're a progressive bloody modern journalist, you're probably going to write papers about the accessibility of this and how this is game of the year, right? And then marry that with, harvesting with your little robot dudes that go out and get the bloody Vespine gas or whatever the fuck it's called in this game. There's like a number for efficiency over it, 0 out of 12. So you just set the rally point, you buy and send the dudes, probably like you would in a normal RTS anyway. And once it gets to 12, you just stop and that's it. You've min-maxed it basically because the game takes that thinking out of it. Now, those two examples, here's the thing. The devs clearly think that this is brilliant. The two types of audience that you really have are the hardcore StarCraft 2 competitive types, and you're essentially taking the entire appeal out of the game for them by removing the more anal components. And then the normies like me that play StarCraft and Warcraft, honestly, for the story, which we enjoy, really compelling, interesting stuff, great characters. I know it's just a video game and it's old and it wasn't exactly philosophical discourse, but they were compelling. They had a thriller thread to them. And you move your units around and make a blob and all that. It's not that I'm too dumb to do the APM. And I really think that's what the disconnect is. It's that we just don't care. That's not the main draw for most boring normies that would make up 95% of the base that played all those classic RTSs. We just don't want to engage with that aspect. I gladly bought, StarCraft 2 and played through the campaign and enjoyed it and didn't really care about the multiplayer and being hyper sweaty at the high difficulties. There are people that will, and this game won't be for them because they've made it for these dumb gamers that they think exist, but we don't really. Speaking for the demographic of dumb gamers, you didn't need to put these features in, and yet they're making it like it's the entire pitch. And it's kind of condescending. It's really weird and strange, and it feels like, look at these dickheads in the corner that can't keep up with StarCraft, we've made the game for them. Now, here's the thing, all the nostalgia stuff that I talked about, with the art and the cutscenes and all that, that seems really cool, and then you start playing the game, and it's boring, man. I've got me blob running around, I've automated my little things because you took away most of the automation stuff, so I just slapped a couple of rally points to my hero, I run around with a blob. That falls over very quickly because the unit cap's quite high, and the amount of times that my hero would get blocked in by my blob was actually wild, and I couldn't get them out, let alone click on them. That was infuriating. It's sort of like I never realized that waypointing and pathing and getting units trapped on top of each other could be a problem, probably because I've just never seen it. It's never happened. So bravo for that being the first thing that you've done. But like most depressingly, the thing that deflated me immediately is just how bland and boring and not engaging the story is. The characters, it's riding the line, very dangerously close for like girl boss main character sort of thing. Don't get me wrong, there's room for strong, powerful women, surely, but she's just going around browbeating her lieutenants. She's incredibly unlikable. Like, there's no charisma to her. Her personality so far has been screaming at a dude for calling for reinforcements. The other dude, she was like telling him off, saying I expect to have my orders followed and all that. I'll give you a fucking spoiler as someone who used to give and follow orders for a living. If you have to fucking say that to someone consistently, problem might not be them. And, pointing guns at civilians and telling them to get on the ship, that sort of stuff, like, just supremely unlikable. And they're fashioning this chick to be the main character, and it's just bizarre to me. Yet another case of this modern wave of writing where you want me to give a fuck about your story, but I feel like there's a dissonance. I feel like because you worked with the build and the character and drew all her facial expressions for the last 4 years of development, and now you're in love with her and attached to her and the whole cast of characters, you expect that we will be as well, but that is not the case. And it's just absolutely no charisma, no stakes, no nothing. I couldn't really tell you what the story's going on about. Some sort of mystical bloody demon pricks come through a portal and he's monologuing about mysterious stuff and says a whole bunch of platitudes and nothing really comes out the other end. It's just such a mess, such a missed opportunity. The opening cutscene, I think it's a flashback to her dad. And charisma is anything. First 30 seconds out of the gate, you're like, this dude is cool. And then the cutscene ends, and then it jumps 20 years later after this invasion happens. So they're like, why would you skip the best part of the story that you've presented to me so far? It could have been the early days of learning about whatever this invasion is and these monsters and, oh my god, like how to fumble the ball 101. And the monetization, they're going to drip feed missions. You can play the prologue as part of the early access, and then if you give them some money, but because I've already got it as part of this package, I don't even know how much it is, and I'm looking in the store and all it does is tell me that I have it. So I couldn't tell you what the currency is, but even then only chapter 1 exists, and I think that's 3 missions, and then they're going to drip feed 3 more missions. Fuck, if they don't crash and burn on launch, to be honest. But that's the thing with early access, right? They make us all these bloody broken promises, and then half of these games go under and the studio folds. And to me, it's a shit practice that we've got to start saying no to, guys. Give me the game and I'll give you the money. Not drip feed me bits and pieces and maybe we won't cancel it at season 3. This has turned into a longer video. I'm obviously quite miffed and pissed about this whole thing. A huge part of it is just the disappointment that they got so much cool stuff in here right with their art and their cutscenes, and yet they still made it kind of just boring and unfun to play. It's not that it's bad. It's not that it's terrible. Instead, I was checking the fucking clock for most of the time. And in a way, that's almost worse, right? So bad it's good, I can work with that. But so bland, it's putting me to sleep. I don't know, man. Anyway, give it 2 weeks and check it out for yourself for free, and then make your own judgment is my direction. I'm gonna go off and have a bloody midlife crisis over essentially stopping overviews and just reviewing full games. I don't know. Anyway, team, might just leave it there for the time being. I'll catch you guys on the next one.